because there's so many YouTube videos where people are like, oh, to be an it girl or to do this, you need to be this, you need to do this. But at the
Girl, I know. Do you see those girls spending like $3,000 on getting someone to tell them what colors look best for their skin tone?
I do.
That's crazy to me. I'm sorry.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Getting It Wrong podcast. I'm Gabrielle.
I'm Morgan.
And here we create a safe space where it's okay to getting it wrong because getting it wrong is the first step to getting it right. And today we're going to have a little recap first on what we talked about last week, and then we're going to get into our topic.
Okay.
So last week we talked about mental health and mental wellness, and we were specifically talking about PMDD and CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and PMDD, which I can't remember what it stood for.
It was premenstrual dysphoric disorder.
Okay, and I can give you a little bit recap on what CPTSD is. And it was about complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's slightly different from PTSD in a way that PTSD comes from a specific traumatic event, and complex PTSD was more a symptom of ongoing trauma that you experience, most likely from childhood.
Right.
And it causes a whole host of symptoms that can't be treated as easily as a single event of PTSD can. It's more of a long, ongoing healing process. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, definitely take a listen to our last episode. And what was if you could tell us a little bit about PMDD.
So PMDD, so like we said, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, it is basically the same idea of PMS. However, it's a more extreme version with more symptoms not only more symptoms, but more extreme symptoms that, for example, like dealing with depression and, depression or sadness, hopelessness, dealing with mood swings. And it takes you out of your character and outside of your normal character for practically half of the month. And it's related to the changes, your body having like abnormal reactions to the hormonal changes that you go through prior to your period.
Yes. So ladies, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, definitely take a listen to our previous episode. And today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different, something on a little bit of a lighter note. Today we're going to be talking about glowing up on a budget. And glowing up, it doesn't necessarily have to be beauty related. It could be glowing up mentally, physically, even emotionally, financially. But today we're going to be giving a few tips on how you can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let's get into it. So like, I don't know, it's hard for me to kind of like really feel the glow up vibe right now. However, I don't know. It comes by like a few different names right now. I don't think people really say like glow up as much anymore. I think people are more into like how to be an it girl or how to reinvent yourself. But basically the idea is really just to like figure out what makes you feel happy. And yeah, what makes you feel like your best you and what makes you feel happy. And just like really, I think the older I'm getting, the more I'm realizing like the very simple like pleasures that make me like tick, that just make me excited. So like it could be something as simple like as a specific temperature outside. And it sounds so silly, but my sister makes fun of me because I'm always talking about like when it's 73 degrees and overcast, it's the perfect temperature. But it's just like that's what makes me happy. And it's one of those things like that makes me happy. Scented candles makes me happy. And I realize like the more I implement those things, well, I can't implement the weather, but being outside, taking advantage of that weather, getting the candles I like, things like that, the more I implement them, the more I feel it just makes you enjoy life. It's kind of like just romanticizing your life, implementing the things you like into your routine. And that can really just make you feel, more like you, more like you're hitting the right notes in life.
Yeah, I
But
completely agree.
yeah, are there like, I'm gonna ask you every time, are there like any very specific things in your life that you feel like Um, like just really, they really do it for you right now.
For sure. So for me and making my life as happy as I can possibly make it, physical activity is number one for me. I have to
Mm.
have some type of physical activity every day in order to make me feel like, wow, today was a good day.
It
Um,
does make you feel productive. You're like, I really did something. I took care of myself, my
yes.
body. Yeah, I like
Candles
that
are a
too.
big one for me too. I love candles and specific
Mm.
scents as well. I am very into lavender scents. I'm very into what's the like clean clothes smell? Like,
Oh, the linen, the fresh
yes,
linen type of
linen. I
scents.
love the
Yeah.
fresh linen scents. I love lavender. I also love a good like I don't want to say apple. It's more like of a like a tangy cranberry type scent. It's hard to
Mm.
put my finger on it. I can't think of the name of the scent, but it's more of like a fall. It
Yeah,
gives
I was gonna
fall and
say,
tangy. Yes.
yeah.
It's
I think
spring now, so I'm into the fresh linen more than the
okay.
tangy scents, but I also love a good musk. You know those wooden
Mhm.
scents? I love those. So yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely contributes to me having a great day. Like at the end of the day, or even on the weekends, on at the in the beginning of the day, like I'll put on some good music. I will turn on the diffuser, light some candles, and I'll clean. Like I'm not a huge fan of cleaning, but when I create these things that I enjoy around those
Yeah.
routines, it makes things so much easier. It makes life worth
Yes.
living.
Yes, and it makes like it's one thing I really appreciate about like just getting older because it's like you really are falling into who you are and you start to really like know all the things that you like. So having like a specific temperature outside that is perfect for you, it just means you're like just becoming like blossoming into who you are. Um it's another one though.
Mhm.
Another one is like putting on perfume before bed. Girl, I don't know what it
Okay.
is about putting it on before bed, but like I feel like, oh, I just feel like I'm ending my day right. Um, Putting it on specific, like just all the self-care things. Um, Doing the everything showers, you
Hmm.
know. Yeah, just finding those things that you really enjoy, regardless if anybody else likes it. But just, I think just taking the time to really like fall in love with yourself and what you like. Just, I feel like that's the best way to kind of like blow up, you know?
Yeah,
And
truly
that's one
finding
thing
what's
for sure.
authentic to you.
Hmm.
I definitely
Absolutely.
agree. Another way to do that, I think, is just to take a look at your habits and ask yourself questions like, is there anything that I could add or remove in my routines
Mm-hmm.
or in my life that could get me closer to this glow up goal that I'm trying to achieve? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I know everyone's taking alcohol out of their diet because they're like, oh, alcohol is terrible for you. This and that. Yes, I know that. But specifically, I took alcohol. I didn't take it completely out of my diet, but I
Hmm.
cut down significantly on the amount of alcohol that I consumed because my glow up goal was to lose weight.
Yeah.
So there's things that could actually save you money, or you don't have to spend any money on in order to reach your glow up goal.
Yeah.
So taking out alcohol, adding physical activity. Like I said, I love physical activity. So you don't necessarily have
Hmm.
to give a gym membership. I feel like I say this every episode, but it's so real. Walking. Walking is free. Walking is lovely. Walking
Hmm.
improves my mental health. Walking improves my physical health. And
Walking in the winter, listen, do not sleep on walking in the winter. I sound ridiculous, but like I don't know what it is. But I just don't like being hot anymore and
okay,
feeling extra sweaty. But like I don't mind bundling up as long as it's above freezing, you know,
that makes sense.
30, 38, 32 and up. I'll hit it with some gloves on and a vest.
Yes, I do walk in all weather. I'm not necessarily a fan of walking in the cold. I'm not a
Mm.
fan of walking in the heat either, but I get up and do it anyway just because the benefits definitely outweigh the cons when it
Yeah.
comes to walking for me personally. But when it comes to other things, we can start getting into like the beauty, the
Hmm.
clothes, because I love being resourceful. So when it comes to having beautiful, high quality clothes, but not necessarily wanting to pay a huge price tag for it, I love to thrift. And I know a lot of people who aren't necessarily a huge fan of thrifting, so I have some options for you as well. You don't
Okay.
necessarily have to go into stores to thrift. You can thrift on the apps. I love a good app
That's true.
thrift, like Depop if you're into more of the
Yeah.
super trendy styles. Another app is called the Real Real. That's more
Okay.
designer items. And of course, you guys know Poshmark. That's probably one of the
Yeah, I've
most
heard of that one.
popular apps. Mercari. So
Yeah.
Poshmark and Mercari, I've sold so many things on those apps and bought so many
Hey,
things on
you put
those
me
apps.
on. You put me on. I
Yes.
started selling old school clothes because the kids, they
Hmm.
in and out of them things.
Yeah. I
So yeah.
try sell your things on these apps. They work. I
Hmm.
don't have this written down, but I can't believe I didn't because it's one of the most magical places. Facebook Marketplace. Facebook
Okay.
Marketplace is so magical to me. There's so many things from so many different people around your area. Um, a lot of my furniture I've gotten from Facebook Marketplace, and when I say they're high ticket items, and I got them for just a fraction of the price, it's insane.
Mm,
Um, of course, when you buy on Facebook Marketplace, a lot of times you do have to like meet up or uh, do
yeah.
picking up in front of someone's house. So it can be a little shady. Just make sure you're making smart decisions.
Don't go
Don't,
alone.
and if you do go alone, make
They
sure
they
you're
help
going
you.
in the day
Right.
and or you're meeting in a public place. Uh, yeah, don't
True.
go anywhere like midnight in the alley somewhere. Just be smart, okay?
Hmm.
uh, a few other apps for nice clothes, or not even clothes, it could be anything. ThreadUp, eBay,
Hmm.
Etsy, OfferUp. Etsy, you can get so much stuff off of Etsy. I've so many things from Etsy. I've gotten little knickknacks I can put in my car. You can get cute press on nails. Someone got me hip to
Okay.
getting really unique, beautiful press on nails from
Okay.
Etsy.
Yeah.
Because I know you can get the ones from the drugstore or the stores, but it's like they're
Hmm.
all kind of the same. But if you go on Etsy, you can find some really beautiful, unique designs. I think you can even request
Yeah.
designs as well.
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay.
So those are little things that I do. Um, when it comes to makeup, so
Mm.
I love Sephora. I'm a Sephora girl. But sometimes when the makeup runs out, I don't necessarily have re-up on everything at Sephora money, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So instead of, so if I run out of my all of my NARS products and I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
I don't want to re-up everything at NARS from Sephora. Maybe I'll go to the drugstore and get like one of my favorite drugstore like foundations at the moment. So what I have it on the tip of my tongue. One of my favorite drugstore foundations. It's the Maybelline Matte
Hmm.
Fit Me foundation. That's one of my favorite
Okay.
like little drugstore foundations for when I don't have my higher end foundations. Um, don't sleep on Elf.
I was gonna
Don't sleep.
say that. Yeah, they have like the dang, I can't think of what it's called. I know they have like that camo concealer. I'm probably wearing it right now. Um, and they have some really good dupes. So I think for like blush and everything, yeah. Don't sleep on Elle.
Yeah. So don't be afraid of the drugstore makeup because they really do a really good job a lot of the time.
Hmm.
Just I think you do have to do a lot of experimenting, a little bit more experimenting when it comes to the
Yeah.
drugstore products, but you can find very, very great alternatives for a fraction of the price.
Hmm.
And also, I know I said this before, but shopping for high quality items for less than market value is my favorite things to do in the entire world. So before I buy anything, it could be furniture, it could be clothes, it could be anything. So let's say I'm surfing the web and I see this beautiful, beautiful skirt. I'm like, oh my gosh, this skirt is amazing. I want it. I look it up. It costs $500. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. So I will screenshot the skirt. I'll do like a reverse Google image search
That's smart.
and try to find that same skirt for a fraction of the price, whether someone selling it or it's a dupe somewhere or
Yeah.
something like that. Because just growing up, I've just never really wanted to pay full price for anything. So,
Mhm. And you can always hit Marshalls and Target. I got my little fake Van Cleef, you know?
okay, do you got that from Marshalls or Target?
Yeah.
Okay.
At TJ Maxx, but you know, same thing.
I love TJ Maxx. I can't believe I didn't recommend that store. They definitely their items might be off season, but it can you can find some really, really, really great items from
Mhm.
TJ Maxx. And also,
Because
what's the
some
other
stuff is
store?
just
Ross.
classic. Like, keep that in
Mhm.
mind. If you are a budget girly, like, work with the classics, work with some of the basics, like, spend money, like, more money on the classic looks, if that makes sense, the timeless ones, if you are, because that
Yes,
makes if you're buying it out of season, getting that timeless look is smart.
this is very
Just
true.
just my 2 cents.
Very true. And you don't necessarily have to be on top of every single trend. I
True.
know growing up, I would love to be like a trendsetter girly, trying to get all the trends, but it just made it every single season, every single year. I'm always buying something
Girl.
new.
Yeah.
And because it's not in trend anymore. And there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with being trendy. I love certain trends if they align with what I like. Um, so it's okay to have trendy pieces, but if you
Yeah.
are glowing up on a budget, the classic pieces, like you said, that's what you need to
Mhm.
focus most of your time on, the classic pieces, but you can throw some trendy looks in there as well.
Yeah, I think just like to throw more in there, when you really take the time to build, like, I know everybody talks about like the capsule wardrobe, but if you take time to do that capsule wardrobe, which basically is when you are getting basic pieces that give you the options to make, you know, a lot of different outfits. When you spend more money on those staple looks, like those staple basic t-shirts or basic, what's it called? But like bodysuits, spend a little bit more money on those, like your classic like leather jacket or classic denim jacket, you know, a good pair of jeans, like really focusing on those main staple pieces. You end up having like so many different outfits, and then you can just your look looks good all the time. If you really focus on what fits you well and those classic timeless looks, it ends up being a hit every time.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought
Just
that up. It's very important to invest in quality pieces as well.
true.
That's why thrifting is important to me because I can get amazing
True.
quality, timeless pieces for a very great price. And also, I think it's important to put emphasis on knowing what works for your body type as well. Because it's not
Yeah.
just having those classic pieces. If you have a classic piece that doesn't fit your body well, it's
Mhm.
not going to look good. It's not going to look
That's
good.
true.
So I implore everyone to figure out what type of body type they have, what look good on their body type, maybe even your skin undertone, and
Mm,
figuring out
mhm.
what colors look good on you as well.
Side note, do you see those girls spending like $3,000 on getting someone to tell them what undertone, like what colors look best for their skin tone?
I do.
That's crazy to me. I'm sorry.
I do. I mean,
I do think certain colors look good on certain skin tones, but I would never. I'm sorry. I just don't see
if you
the
have the money to spend, why not? But
yay,
that's
I
not
guess.
something I
No,
would
mm-mm. I'm sorry, I'm not with
invest
it.
my money in. I would just go on YouTube, find someone who looks like me, and be like, those colors look great on her and we look the same. So I'm going to use those colors.
Right? You would
And that
think.
works for me. Even when it comes to makeup and lipstick, I look
Yeah.
before when I this is how I do my research. I go on YouTube, I find someone who looks just like me when it comes to their
Yes.
tone and their color, and I like their makeup, what they're using, I write it down and I get those same products because I'm like, that looks great on
That's
you. It's gonna look great on me.
that's so key. No, you're 100% right. In doing that with your body type too. I'm still trying
Mhm.
to find somebody that has like a similar body type as me because I'm like, what? When you find somebody that has a similar body type, you can mimic. You don't have to have the same style as them, but you can mimic the silhouettes they use if they're doing it well, obviously. But keep in mind, like the silhouettes for your body type. And what I mean, like, obviously, like if you have a pear shape, having like accented like tops can be, you know, like with large, like, what is it? Shoulder pads and stuff can be helpful for like a pear shape, for example. So knowing like what silhouettes work for your body and finding somebody, I feel like that's key, but I'm still looking.
Do you know your body shape or your body type?
Yeah. what's it called?
I mean, you don't have to share if you don't want to.
I
But
don't mind. I'm just
okay.
yeah, it's more like because I have like broad shoulders. Um, I got broad shoulders, so it's like upside down, inverted triangle. I think that's what it's called.
Inverted triangle.
So
Okay.
I get like tips and stuff, but I'm trying to find like specifically like creators, content creators, so I can like mimic silhouettes. Oh, are we doing
Gotcha.
lifetime research? Period.
I am. I'm
What we
Googling.
got?
I'm like, I wonder if I can find someone with the inverted triangle body shape. We don't have to do it right now, but I'm saving that on the side for later. Um,
Yay!
because I'm like, it's somebody out here. Somebody, I'm pretty
Gotta
sure I'm gonna click
be.
on one of these videos and someone's just be like, I've been searching for so long for someone who's had the body shape like mine, and I couldn't find it, so I decided to be that person.
That's what I'm looking for. Cause I don't want to be the person, but they got me this close.
I
Cause I'm
mean,
like, where we at? Where we at? Inverted triangle.
yeah, I mean, if we
Where
can't
are
find it, you
you?
might have to be that person.
Ugh, the weight is so heavy. Ugh,
Ugh, so much
okay.
power, so much responsibility.
Right. So much responsibility.
But
Yeah.
yes, we have to be the change that we want to see in this world.
True.
And that's honestly a part of what this podcast is about. That's a part
That
of why
is
this
true.
podcast was started. We want to be a part of the solution and not the problem. So,
Period.
and it's okay if you get it wrong. We've been looking, we've been searching, but we're going to get it right.
Come on. You better preach. You better full circle moment it.
Full circle moment. But so what people get wrong when it comes to their glow up probably is just
Mhm.
not being not being their authentic selves, because there's so
Mhm.
many YouTube videos where people are like, oh, to be an it girl or to do this, you need to be this, you need to do this. But at the end
Girl,
of the
in the
day,
specific hygiene routines, like I'm obviously you want to take care of yourself, but they're like, you need to exfoliate 3 times a week. You need to blah blah. I'm like, girl,
like
step one is figuring out what you want, what your goals are, what makes you happy. That's all we're trying to say, you know?
that's all we're trying to say. I'm not, if you have dry skin and you exfoliate 3 times a week, you're going to be looking a mess.
Right.
So do not follow everything that these YouTube people are saying. You need to figure out what works for you and do what works for
Mm-hmm.
you. And that is how you will improve and get closer to your goals.
100%.
So
Mm-hmm.
stay authentic, ask yourself questions, and get the ball rolling.
Exactly. That was it.
All right. Well, we could talk to you guys all night, but we've got to get out of here. We
We
hope
gotta
what we've
go.
shared helped you in some way. If it has, please share with us in the comments. You can contact us on Instagram at Getting
Mhm.
It Wrong Pod, or you can find us on YouTube, Getting It Wrong Podcast, and you can find us on Spotify. And that's all I can think of at the moment, but holler at
Okay.
us.
I think that's great.
And we'll talk to you guys later.